What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Talkin Sports with Jake. Hope we're doing well. As you see, Justin is here as a guest. Justin, how are you today?
Dude, I'm fired up. I have not sat in this chair since like April.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Last time I was here, it was on our show, The Firing Squad, and we were doing a mock draft with Jared. It was with Jared McCabe.
Oh my god!
It was like me here, Jared here, because he had to sit next to me. I don't care. He doesn't go. He graduated from here. I could say this. Bro wanted to sit next to me. I don't care. He's not here. He's not here to say otherwise. And then it was Ashton where you are, and then you were sitting right there.
That's right.
So yeah, it's been a minute. It's been a minute since I've been here. Last time I was on your show in general, we did it live, and I got it, and it was with Nick and Ashton on here.
That's right.
So it's been a while. A lot has happened in the sports world, and I'm just ready to talk about it.
So Justin actually requested to come on over the weekend, and he said the main reason was he would like to talk some college football. So I gotta be honest, Justin, I don't even really know what you're gonna say, so I'm just gonna give you the floor.
Ooh, okay, damn. Didn't realize you were going to throw him to the dogs like that. All right, so I've been seeing a lot of commentary recently regarding the college football playoff, the 12-team college football playoff. And I came across some tweets because that's what I do. That's what happens. If you want sports news, you got to go to Twitter.
Right.
Or I'm not going to call it X. Sorry, that's a letter. But I went to Twitter, and then I see a college football Twitter page complaining about how a 3-loss team could potentially make the college football playoff. And not gonna lie, the second I saw that, I then texted you wanting to come onto the show.
Wow.
Because I have had it up to the fucking moon. Yeah, this is an 18+ show, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I was making sure it didn't change over like 3 months. Yeah, I fucking had it with some of these college football fans. Can you guys please explain to me what more you want? What more do you want? It was a 4-team playoff. You had an issue with that. I agree. A team that went 13-0 because their best quarterback went down. It took them out of the playoff when they were dominant all year in Florida State. Yeah. Sucked that. Well, now they're 2-9, so fuck that, So now you're not even gonna make the 12-team one. But now we make it 12, and you're gonna have an issue with a 3-loss team going into the college football playoff. Could you imagine if, like you're saying, the college football fans wanted to be more like the NFL? Do I need to bring up the 2022 Washington football team? What was their record, Jake, when they went to the playoffs?
Was it 7-9?
7-9. They were 7-9 when they went into the playoffs. They went 7-9 and went into the playoffs. A 3-loss team should automatically be written out. You're pissed off about that? You're pissed off that a 3-loss team, 3, like, are we like I have had it with all of these with all these college football fans doing nothing but asking for more, and then when they ask for more, now all of a sudden you want less. You want less. This is never going to end until you guys grow the fuck up, shut the fuck up, and start to appreciate a little bit more competition. I'm tired of these Mizzou fans who think that they should automatically be in the top 12 because they allegedly have a good receiver. I don't care. That's basically as much as I thought about, but it did piss me off. Like, 3 losses, like, if you're, like, it has nothing to do with the 3 losses. It has to do with quality of wins. Yeah. Like I don't care. I don't want to hear these Notre Dame fans. Like, you lost to Northern Illinois and you're gonna be in the fucking playoffs. So like. So I really don't want to hear these because there was the other thing. I saw Notre Dame fans talking like let's remember last year, if you lost to Northern Illinois, you're not making the playoff.
You're cooked.
You sure maybe you're ranked 5th, but fifth ain't 4.
Nope.
5th ain't 4th. So So what I really just want to know, like, what more do these people want before they're finally gonna be like, hey, you know what? This is fair. I'm sorry, Bowling Green football fans. Until you beat an actual good team, you're not making the college football playoff. What do you want it to be? A field of 64? But then if it is, you're then going to complain that 64 is too much. And you know it's going to be even worse if it was a field of 64. Florida State still wouldn't make it.
Yeah, they're very bad this year. But yeah, look, I agree. If someone wants to argue like there's like ways to improve the 12-team playoff, fine. Maybe you think it should be 10. Like, the way it's formatted, like, basically a 5 seed kind of has an easier road than the 1 seed. That's something in a year or two they could probably tweak. So maybe there's tweaks to it. But if a 3-loss team gets in, like, on the surface, that doesn't sound great. But, you know, if you know, there's a 3-loss team that is legitimately the 12th best team in the country, you know, they deserve to be the 12th, to be the last team in. Like, I don't think they should be disqualified. Obviously, if there's a 2-loss team that has a better resume than a 3-loss team, if they're a better football team, then yeah, put that team in over the 3-loss team. And I don't think we'll have a 3-loss team in there. We'll see what happens. We got conference championships this Saturday.
Championship Saturday. And the reason why I bring this up is because, in my opinion, I don't think it's a better time to enjoy college football than it is right now.
It's been crazy this year.
It's been fantastic. But like all I'm hearing is complaints. I'm still hearing complaints. Like what? I just want to know what these losers want. I really do. And I'm looking at the 12-team playoff right now. The only 3-loss team is Bama.
Mm-hmm.
So you're telling me that Bama should be behind that Bama should be behind Arizona State, South Carolina, Miami, Ole Miss, Iowa State, BYU, Clemson, UNLV, Colorado, Illinois, Mizzou, Syracuse, Army, and Memphis.
Yeah, they're the best.
Oh yeah. Oh, okay, guys. Okay, guys. Guys, the 10-1 Army, the Army, whose job, to where they give 2 shits about their football program because you know they're too busy, you know, doing actually important things like I don't know that one tiny thing that's important, like serving the country.
Right. Yeah.
You know, you're doing that, and you think that Bama should, and you think that they should be over the University of Alabama. Guys, I think I need to check myself into some kind of mental ward to where they still do lobotomies, to where they just gotta, you know, take the hammer, put it into my eye, and then I just completely forget about this.
But yeah, like, look, I don't like Alabama, and if they get in, that'll be a little bit frustrating. But out of that group, I mean, Arizona State and Iowa State are in the Big 12 title game, so obviously the winner of that will have a top 4 seed. And the ACC title game is if Clemson can find a way to be SMU. Yes, they would be like the 4 seed, but I doubt they're going to be SMU in that game. They're not that great of a team. I think SMU is a better football team than them. But the rest of them, yeah, Alabama is the best team out of that group. So yeah, I don't really understand why, you know, you would put, like, you can't put BYU over them. Like, Miami has I think 2 losses. They haven't beaten anybody either.
No, they haven't really beaten any big people.
They also Syracuse, who they're supposed to be better than. They also
allegedly.
They've had a good year. Their new coach Fran Brown did a very good job this year, and it's cool to see them ranked. But like Miami came in the 6th best team in the country. Syracuse came in unranked, and they also somebody else who isn't any good, and who they didn't beat anybody. They beat like Virginia Tech isn't that good. It's like their premier win. Like Wake Forest sucks, and
Cal
isn't very good. Like, I don't know how if Miami gets in, we're gonna have a conversation because that team should not be in the college football playoff.
And I don't want your fans to get it twisted about, like, okay, I also do I disagree as well with just where people are ranked? Fuck yeah, I do. Why is Penn State still ranked 3rd?
Yeah.
What talk about teams that haven't beaten anybody?
Yes.
I don't understand. Like, I'm this entire rant for me is just me not understanding. I would be a teacher's worst nightmare.
But yeah, Penn State, they have them very high. But it's coming down to the wire here. We'll see what happens. We'll see what they do with Alabama. Will Miami get in? Will Indiana get in? Obviously, you have the conference championship. So if Georgia loses to Texas, which I think will happen, do they get in? So a lot of questions still to be answered.
Did you watch Georgia Tech, by the way?
I caught a tiny bit of it. I didn't catch too much of it. That game was crazy.
Incredible. Absolute cinema.
That crap was insane.
Absolute cinema of a game. Game of the year.
Definitely game of the year.
Game of the year. If Georgia Tech won that game, I was about to send you a text and be like, Georgia Tech just loves to stop people from making the college football playoff.
That's right. They basically ended Florida State season before it even started, and then
they ended Miami's season last year.
That's right, and then they beat Miami last year. Now
and then if they beat Georgia, I was like, holy shit, they're gonna actually kill Georgia's season. I mean, good. It was a good game overall, though. I couldn't hate. Both teams were gassed by 8th overtime, by OT number 8.
Oh yeah, and then friggin' If Ohio State loses to Oregon, which again I think is going to happen, do they get in?
Going to happen.
Do they get in?
I mean, you're talking about another team that hasn't. I mean, I guess if you want to talk about Penn State, sure, but you're talking about another team that hasn't really beat anybody.
Yeah,
like you lost to unranked Michigan.
Oh wait, are they even in the game, or is it Penn State? I think they might be playing Penn State actually. Oregon. Yeah,
it's Oregon, Penn State.
So yeah, now do you put Ohio State in now?
I mean, they're 7th. I actually would argue that SMU should be higher. I would argue SMU should be over Ohio State.
If they beat Clemson, which I do think they will, they'll be the 4th seed or whatever because the way the playoff is structured, I believe. So, they've been very good this year. I do think they will beat Clemson.
Yeah, I think Oregon's going to end off with the number 1 seed in the. And college. They're better than.
If they beat Penn State, there's really nothing you can do to take it away from them.
If they beat Penn State, which I think they are, but this year in particular, Oregon's just been better.
Yes,
they've been better than all of them.
Oh yeah,
than everybody. I love that for them. I love that.
I love that for them. But yeah, so conference championship this weekend. I think Friday might be Army against Tulane. That's for the AAC championship game. There's one. Not like a big one, but there was one decent one on Friday, and then Saturday is obviously.
Yeah, let me take a look because Jake, let's see what we're dealing with. Let's
take a look here.
So we got Tulane Army at 8
on Friday.
Okay. Then there's the also at 8 is the Mountain West Championship, UNLV Boise State. I think Boise State's. I think they have to win if they want to stay in the playoff. Iowa State, and then on Saturday, those are where you get like your big ones. Yeah. You got Iowa State, Arizona State for Big 12. That's like, it's okay.
Yeah.
I don't think it's great, but like, maybe I'll watch it if I care. Then Georgia, Texas at 4. Kind of don't agree with the scheduling here of that. I think that should be a primetime game, not a 4:00 game.
Georgia against
Texas.
Yeah.
Georgia Tech should be a primetime game. Clemson, SMU, and Penn State, Oregon are on primetime. So
yeah, they should have swapped the Clemson game with the Georgia game.
Yeah, they should have swapped. They should have completely swapped them. But I'm looking at Jacksonville State, Western Kentucky for the greatest game on Friday at 7. Jacksonville State's about to make the college football playoff. Trust me on this. Don't worry.
Jacksonville State.
There's some other ones. You got like Marshall, Louisiana. It'd be so sick to watch Marshall get in though.
Marshall.
If Marshall gets into the playoff, I'm just gonna call them the dark horse right now. If they somehow manage to get into the playoff, I'm calling them a dark horse.
Oh my God.
I just am. I don't care.
Marshall.
They're gonna destroy everybody. The herd. The herd.
The herd. The stampede of Marshall.
The stampede of Marshall will absolutely. I think we should just I don't care that they have 5 losses. I just think we should give Hawaii the 12th seed.
Hawaii.
Fan favorite team. Always people always root for them. University of Delaware had no chance. Delaware State had no chance when they played them. I don't care that their bus got delayed. They had no chance anyway. They were gonna get blown out. I think I think they should get an honorary 12 seed bid.
An honorary bid.
Honorary bid to the college football playoff.
Oh my God! But yeah, that's the college football playoff. And our last topic today, we're gonna talk about a little NFL. So winding down in this regular season, playoff picture trying to take shape, especially in the AFC. So we're gonna give you one pretender and one contender in each conference. So Justin, we'll start in the AFC, and I'll start with you. Who would you consider a contender in the AFC right now?
The New York Jets. I wish.
I wish, man.
I wish.
One of these days, maybe.
A contender? I mean, I don't know. I hate to say it. I fucking hate to say it. It's the Bills.
Yeah.
It's the Bills. The Bills are a contender. Josh Allen's the best quarterback in football right now. Mm-hmm. I think he's going to win MVP, and he should, especially after that performance in San Francisco. Oh, yeah. I mean, he just played. He played out of his mind. He's been playing the best football of his career at this point. People thought as well this team was going to be bad. People thought this team was going to be ass because they lost Stephon Diggs, and they thought
they were going to regress.
Yeah, and they thought that, you're basically going to be running it down with Khalil Shakir or Dalton Kincaid on your back shoulder fade. But no, the Amari Cooper pickup has been huge. But even before that, they were still winning. Oh, yeah. They're still winning a lot, and I still think Sean McDermott's a fraud. Still think he's a fraud. But I think the Bills right now, I guess the way you could argue it was, the Chiefs have beat everybody except the Bills. The Bills have beat the Chiefs, so it's like I can't say the Chiefs are better than the Bills right now. I have to say the Bills are our contender right now in the AFC.
Definitely, yeah. And look, on paper, they probably should beat the Chiefs in the playoffs. Obviously, it seems like it's in that way almost every year, especially last year. And they always come up a little short, but they are playing out of their mind right now. Josh Allen, like you said, I do think he's the MVP of the league. They've been running the ball well with James Cook. Obviously, Josh Allen can make plays with his feet. Their receivers have stepped up. They've been good defensively. So, yeah, they are bowling out of their mind right now. As for me, the Chiefs is a pretty obvious answer. Obviously, at 11-1, the 1 seed, the 2-time defending champs. I think that's pretty obvious. Another team I think that could be a tough out might be the Los Angeles Chargers.
Chargers are tough.
Not expecting them to have a huge run, but you obviously have a great quarterback in Justin Herbert. He's been playing really well. Sort of a tiny bit slow. Some of it was that's a run-heavy team. Jim Harbaugh. That's kind of the way.
It's kind of the Jim Harbaugh way. But look, he's definitely had a good year for a good first year.
He's had a very good season. They've ran the ball well. J.K. Dobbins has stayed mostly healthy, which has been huge. He's had a good year. And, Lad McConkey overall has played well. They still need one more big receiver because Lad's kind of like a solid slot guy.
Lad's a 2 trying to be a 1.
Yeah.
First of all, his name's stupid, not going to lie. Respectfully, of course.
I don't know if that's his real name, but that's what he goes by.
Yeah, okay, Lad. But, I don't care.
But, that might be the whitest name I've ever heard, Lad McConkey.
It's the most Irish name I've ever heard.
It's very Irish,
Lad
McConkey.
Lad
McConkey, yes.
If he's not dressed up in all green on St. Patty's Day, I'm gonna be very disappointed in him. but now you're saying like another secondary contender, Jake. It's only fair that I get one. Because the other contender that I have is also somebody who I think has the coach of the year right there in the AFC. I think the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah, they're playing really well right now.
Talk about a team again that had nothing.
Yeah.
People thought the Justin Fields pickup was going to be stupid. People thought the Russell Wilson pickup was going to be stupid. People thought that Calvin Austin was going to be their best receiver. And because Deontay Johnson was gone, they're like, oh, they have nobody, and George Pickens isn't playing well. George Pickens is having a great year. Russell Wilson is back to himself, it looks like. The defense has been playing really well. Yeah. They've been beating really, really good teams.
Yeah, they've beaten a bunch of them. They beat the Ravens a couple of weeks ago.
They just beat the Ravens a couple of weeks ago. They have beaten a lot of great teams, and I think a lot of that also has to do with Mike Tomlin.
Yeah, he's done a great job.
He's done a great job with them. I mean, yeah, it's probably most of it because he doesn't want to break his streak of being 500 or lower. Yeah, but But I think they might win their division. They could win their division after this, and with that, I think you have to give Tomlin Coach of the Year.
Yeah, I mean, in preseason, people were freaking out because their offense looked really rough. People were saying they were going to be the last in the division, and they started off a little slow. Like, they're going to come. Once they start playing good teams, they're not going to be able to score enough points. And their defense has been playing out of their mind, and their offense has actually been pretty good. They've ran the ball a lot better than they did last year. And honestly, kudos to Mike Tomlin for making the quarterback change. It didn't make a lot of sense at the time, but it's actually worked out. Fields didn't play bad by any means, but Russ has probably played a little bit better.
No, Russ is cooking.
He's played a lot better.
They let Russ cook, and he did for once. I can't believe it.
Yeah, but that's another team that definitely could maybe make a run. And honestly, even like Chargers, I don't know if they'll make a big run, but they have a great defense and they can run the football, and they have a very experienced coach who's been there before in Pittsburgh, but that's just a really good team.
Yeah.
All right, Justin, so who is your pretender in the AFC?
There's only one. And it's the Baltimore Ravens.
Good pick.
It's the Baltimore Ravens. I really can't think of another team in the AFC that's a bigger pretender than the Baltimore Ravens. Their defense is bad.
It's their
defense.
Good.
Their defense sucks, and it's very obvious that if they don't pound the rock with Derrick Henry, because you're saying they're in a bit of like they're dealing with a bit of a double-edged sword here. If you keep on giving the ball to Derrick Henry, you then think, oh, defenses are gonna read it. They're just gonna load up the box more. But then you don't give it to Derrick Henry, and then nothing happens.
Yeah.
So like the defense is atrocious.
It's nothing good, especially the secondary.
Yeah, the offense, if the play is not revolved around a Lamar Jackson read option or a Derrick Henry or around Derrick Henry, is not that good. No. And unfortunately, Justin Tucker's playing the worst football of his career.
Yeah, he's really struggling.
He's really struggling. I mean, the dude's a Hall of Famer.
Right.
I think it's his time to hang it up. But right now, when you have probably on paper the best team you've ever had right now, having a reliable kicker is important, and it has cost them games. But also, you look at some of the offensive play calling and the rough secondary, and I can't blame it all on special teams.
No, absolutely not. And yeah, like when they made the move for Deontay Johnson, they were hoping he would be that number 2 receiver that they've been missing for a while. It has not worked at all. He was invisible for the 3 games. I don't even think he dressed for their last game. John Harbaugh kind of dodged a question when they asked him about it. So I don't know if they're just frustrated with him, what he's on the field, if there's something else going on. I know he put out a social media post a couple of weeks ago. Clearly seemed hinting he was a little frustrated. It was kind of cryptic. So, that has not worked out at all. So if they're past the game, you really only... Zay Flowers is very good. Andrews has played a lot better second half of the year, but he's still not quite the same player. Like you said, they really can't stop anybody, especially against the pass. So that's definitely troubling. For me... To me, it's the Houston Texans. They're going to win their division. That division is not very good, but Stroud's taking a step back. To me, this is just your classic young team last year. They kind of came out of nowhere. Stroud had a great season. A lot of guys stepped up. You were a lot better than expected. You win the division. You win a playoff game. And this year, you bring in Joe Mixon. You bring in Stephon Diggs. You bring in Danielle Hunter. Now, all of a sudden, there's expectations. And it didn't quite take the huge step that we thought. They're not a bad team by any means.
They will be better. They will be better.
In fact, I could see them being what we thought they were going to be this year, next year. Especially if, also that offensive line is really bad. They got a couple of guys out. Kenyon Green is out. Pass protection-wise, they have had a rough year. You've had some bad losses. Like you lost to the Jets on Thursday Night Football.
For some reason they're just allergic to beating the Jets. I know. They don't like to beat the Jets.
Last year it happened too. Even they've had a couple of even that they won. It's like they barely scraped by against a really bad team. Went to win obviously, but they haven't been quite the team that we thought. So they're probably a first round exit. They'll win again. They're gonna win their division, but they'll certainly be the 4th seed in the AFC
for sure.
All right, so let's go to the NFC now. Justin, who is your contender in the NFC?
Ooh, good question. I'm trying to think about it. No, not really. Give me the Detroit Lions.
Yeah.
It's really it's obvious. There's no other answer. I don't want to hear the Eagles. I don't want to hear the Philadelphia Eagles. Don't want to hear it. Don't want to hear it. Be quiet. No. This is they are the Super Bowl will come down to the best Super Bowl I could ever watch would come down to Bills Lions.
That would be incredible.
Insane. It would be insane. They have, yes, their defense is definitely banged up. Aiden Hutchinson, huge loss. Right. They're still playing really well. Yeah. They're still playing really well. I still don't know if Jared Goff is still the guy or not, but with the pieces around him and who's been playing around him, they have been playing excellent. I mean, the record shows, look at it. They've been playing incredible. And then you also have to just bring it straight back to coaching with Dan Campbell.
Oh my God, dude.
Completely turning this team around. You could argue that he's probably I'll say it right now. I think he's the greatest coach the Lions have ever had.
I mean, looking at what else they've had, he probably is.
Yeah, like I couldn't name you. Who's it? Matt Patricia?
Yeah, but really, beside before him, who took them to the NFC Championship game? You got to go back,
you probably got to go back. What, Barry Sanders?
Yeah, I'm not even sure if they did that because the whole thing is they wasted his career. So I don't know if he made it. So yeah, I think he probably is.
Yeah, no, whoever was coaching, I forgot who was coaching during the Stafford Megatron days, but they didn't make an NFC Championship. I believe they made playoffs once. But they didn't make multiple playoffs like the Lions are doing now. Like Dan Campbell, people were. I think if the Lions win a Super Bowl, which I hope because the story would be incredible, I think people will be talking about Dan Campbell for years. Because let's remember when Jake and Justin in the Morning was a thing, which it still kind of is. It's not dead. It's just floating in the air. It's the legacy still lives on, by the way. Legacy still lives on. It's like ECW. You know, it's not really dead, but you know. But we covered the opening presser of Dan Campbell saying, and he's in there saying, we're gonna bite their kneecaps off, and then we're gonna bite off their kneecaps, and then when they get back up, we're gonna bite their kneecap again. And we were saying this guy's insane. Yeah, this guy's nuts. You know, he had some rough moments of clock management, and then the next year, completely different team, complete competent, and then they got better and better and better. So it's you're talking about this is an incredible story, and Dan Campbell has done such an incredible job with this team, especially when people like us were thinking that he wasn't going to do shit. Yeah,
but yeah, he's done a really good job. When he took that job, it was kind of a weird hire because he was the tight ends coach. He started him. He was a player. Then he kind of bounced around as a coach. He was in Miami. He was the interim coach in Miami years ago. Actually did a pretty good job, but then they didn't bring him back. So I think he went to the Saints for a while. Was a tight ends coach there for a while. Then he got the Lions job. So all right, is this guy qualified? Blah blah blah. Then he went out and did the press conference. It's okay, this guy's a couple of screws loose. I like his energy. You know, other coaches kind of supported the hire, saying, "Yeah, this guy's a good coach. He knows what he's doing. He's just a little crazy." But at the same time, he went from being a tight ends coach to a head coach. The Lions are such a bad organization. Is this really going to work? And early on, it did not look like it was going to work. Like he said, he had some clock management issues. He had them in a lot of close games, but then it got to then it's all right, he has been in a lot of close games. They're losing all of them, so you're kind of trying to balance it there. But just then this, like you said, his third year, because the style he brought is so different. I don't think guys were buying in quite yet. Once they bought in, it was just
it was like this. And the only way I could call it really does. The way they play really does resemble biting off someone's kneecap.
Yeah, it literally does.
It's gritty offense, gritty defense. Yeah. It's play till the final whistle. Yeah. It really is. It's a good coaching style. It really is.
Yeah, and they've had a couple of games where they just destroyed teams. They beat Dallas 47-9. They beat Jackson 52-14, and that's simply because
Dallas also sucks. But yeah,
yeah, those teams are very bad. But the reason that these games get so lopsided is because a lot of teams, if you're up 20 in going into the fourth quarter, you put the backups in, you can't take the foot off the gas. Dan Campbell doesn't care. They do not take their foot off the gas pedal.
No, they don't.
For 60 minutes, they are given 150%. And like, to me, he's a perfect coach because he's gonna hold you accountable. He handles things. You can tell he handles things in house because like when who was it? Was it when Jameson Williams got that penalty when he threw the ball in Stevenson's face, got the personal foul, and they asked him about it. He said, "Taken care of. It's all good."
Yep.
He handled it in house. He already apologized. It's been handled. Done. Move on. And then the whole thing, like Jameer Gibbs posted a picture of like their plays on Instagram, like accidentally or something. At first he was like, "All right, let me look into it." Then they asked him again. He was like, "I don't really care." So like and also at the same time, as tough as he is and as accountable as he'll hold you, that guy looks like an awesome guy to play for.
He does. He's like a great dude.
Like it's an old. Oh my God, that's
it's John.
It's John, the guy we know walking by. But a lot of these like old school coaches. A lot of times when you lose, obviously they get on you, but even when you win, it almost feels like you lost because they nitpick. With Dan Campbell, when they, even through all these wins, he says like, guys, we got a few things to clean up. We gotta work on some practice. But then he goes out and says, "Hey, we got the win. Good job." He gets the game balls out. To like, it's a perfect balance of like, being player friendly, not too player friendly, and still holding guys accountable, but not so much towards just like even when you win, you feel like you lost.
Yeah, and coaches like that. Coaches like that, I'm not trying to jump the gun, but coaches like that end up making the Hall of Fame.
Absolutely.
Just because they end up winning a nice amount of Super Bowls, they end up winning just a large amount of games. They just the fact like the culture they have on players and on just coaches in general around them. Like who knows, maybe after some of these big guys like Ben Johnson, when he goes to wherever the hell he wants to go. Mm-hmm. I mean, we could potentially see a really healthy looking coaching ladder coming from Dan Campbell, because you have all these coaches who have developed under him and know what it takes to be not just a good coach but a great coach.
Yeah, because and Ben Johnson, I think would make a really good head coach. I'd be shocked if he's not a head coach next year. I was surprised that he wasn't head coach this year. I think their other coordinator, Aaron Glenwood, will make a good head coach. If you're hiring, if you want a new head coach, you got to kind of go offense in today's league. But if you're hiring a current defensive coordinator, I think it's got to be Aaron Glenn, because I think he can make a good coach. So, yeah. And then if those two guys become good head coaches, now you think, all right, if he does a good job replacing them, I'm sure any assistant coach would love to coach under that guy. Maybe now, and like you said, that's how coaching trees. Like, you think of like the best coaching trees, Bill Parcells. You think of Kyle Shanahan, or like Shanahan, that whole
Mike Shanahan,
and then Kyle, and then
kind of Kyle,
and kind of like guys like McVay and all his buddies from there, all like basically the entire 2012 Washington Redskins coaching staff, basically, besides besides Mike McDaniel.
Yeah, basically only Mike McDaniel.
Yeah, and then. You think of trees like that, you think like Andy Reid's coaching tree is pretty good. So Dan Campbell could be on his way to that for sure.
Yeah, we're not even going to talk about Bill Belichick's coaching tree. Bill Belichick is an all-time great coach. The people that end up his assistants end up becoming head coaches, not so much.
Horrible, yeah.
Not so much. Matt Patricia.
I feel like, good Lord.
Need I say more?
McDaniels.
Josh McDaniels. Need I say more? Joe Judge.
Good God, he was bad.
Three historically bad head coaches, mind you. Two of which really historically bad, Josh McDaniels and Joe Judge.
Yeah. And then, look, I don't see anybody beating the Lions this year.
Nope.
But the only team that might have a shot is probably the Green Bay Packers.
It's probably the Packers.
Because obviously they're playing this Thursday. So, that's their second time that they're matching up.
Good game.
Yeah, that should be a very good game. Should be an actual good Thursday night football game. They can be far and few between. But they've been a lot better defensively. You finally got Joe Barry out of there. Jordan Love, he's obviously been a little banged up this year. He's had some turnover issues, but overall has played pretty well when he's not been turning the ball over. They've ran the ball really well with Josh Jacobs. Overall, that they got a lot of weapons over there. Matt LaFleur overall has done a pretty good job this year, but so that's really the only thing that I think could beat them, because you've seen them multiple times, and their play style might be able to beat them, but I still don't see it. But that's really the only team that'll be my contender. But that's a team that could maybe go from the wild card to possibly a deeper playoff run. But that's the only thing that really has a shot. And then let's get to pretenders, Justin. Who's your pretender?
Jake, I want you to go first.
Okay.
I'm fired up. I'm charging up.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. My pretender in the NFC. I gotta think about it. I want to steal yours. That's the thing. I think I know what you're gonna say. So I'm gonna go with the Atlanta Falcons.
I think you know what I'm gonna say.
Yeah, I know. But so it's between two. I think it's pretty clear the two. It's, to me, pretty clear cut. The Falcons. First of all, they might not even be in this conversation in a couple of weeks, the way they're playing. Kirk Cousins just threw 4 picks. The Chargers defense is great. I touched on that earlier, but he's not playing well. And also, they gave him a lot of money, but they just drafted Michael Penix. If he's not careful, by next year, they might look to get rid of him and start Michael Penix. They have a pretty good roster. They have not been great defensively. I don't think Raheem Morris is that great of a coach. And Kirk's really struggling. They're kind of a mess right now. A couple of weeks ago, you're like, all right, they were 2 games up on Tampa. The Bucs had a lot of injuries. They had a lot of holes on their roster, like every team in that division does. They're all right. Atlanta will at least still coast to the division. Now it's like, oh my God, they might literally blow the division to the Buccaneers. So they're my pretender. I think it's pretty self-explanatory. Justin?
Well, I just want to jump off that real quick. I think they need a receiver 1. I don't think Drake London's the guy. Yeah. I think he's to me he's the OG Ladd McConkey. He's the OG Ladd McConkey. I think he's a 2. I think he's a 2. Darnell Mooney's a 2. Ray McLeod, cool name, but you're a 2.
At least.
Kyle Pitts ain't that good.
Kyle Pitts, that guy.
Kyle Pitts isn't that good, but like
you're disappearing act in the NFL.
Yeah, but like your receiver 1 should not be Bijan. And Bijan's a great receiving back. He's a great player. I'm not saying that.
Right.
But he's a running back.
Right, exactly.
Pound the rock. Maybe throw him on a little wheel or screen. Well, yeah, you shouldn't be throwing him on a deep ball.
It's impressive that he can catch the ball the way he does, but like when I don't care how good the running. I don't care for Christian McCaffrey in his prime. If a running back is leading your team receiving, your receiver core probably isn't that good.
Yeah, your receiving core probably isn't that good. They need another receiver. Right. But yeah, I mean, I'd be stoked to see Michael Penix start. He's cool. Oh, yeah. I thought he should have won the Heisman. Jane Daniels playing really well though. But anyway, my pretender Jake's the Minnesota Vikings.
I know it.
Who do you think was the other team that you also thought should be a pretender?
Honestly, I thought the Vikings and Falcons definitely stuck out, but I knew you were going to say the Vikings, so I figured let me take the Falcons.
Yeah, of course I'm saying the Vikings, and here's why. I don't care if they're 10-2. Look at how close they were. You're beating the Cardinals by 1. You're beating the Jets by a touchdown. You're beating teams by 3-4 points.
You beat Jacksonville by 5.
Yeah, you beat Jacksonville by 5. Sam Darnold has been at the back end not playing that good.
He's
which I told you so. I fucking told you so. I'm sorry that you have one great receiver and you don't know how to throw to him. For the love of God, and by the way, I'm not a fan of that defense either.
Really?
Not a huge lover of that defense right now. I think it could be better. I think that receiving core, solid, could be a little better. Addison to me goes a little back and forth.
Yeah, he's not consistent.
Yeah, Hawkinson hasn't been the same since he's gotten hurt. I mean, he's fine, but he hasn't been the same since he's gotten hurt. Running back situation. I mean, can I even say it's like? I mean, it's Aaron Jones. I'm sorry, I'm tired. I like.
He hasn't been great lately.
He hasn't been great lately, but he's definitely. He was definitely better than what they were working with last year. But like, it's who's behind him who I don't think is that good. Like he kind of needs to be an all down back for them, and that's and my concern is I don't want the dude to get hurt, mainly because he's on my fantasy team, but also because I like him. But you know what? If people ask me, if people might be thinking right now, Justin, do you think this team would do better if they had J.J. McCarthy? And my answer is, you're goddamn right they would. You're goddamn right they would.
He fits. He's a good fit for that offense because he's so careful with the ball.
Yeah, because he is so careful.
All you got to do is get the ball to your playmakers. That's all you got to do in that offense.
Yeah, I think they will be a first-round exit. Mm-hmm. I think they're going to make the wild card somehow, and they will be a first-round exit, and I'm all for it. I'm getting tired of the Sam Darnold praise. He's not an MVP. He's not the best quarterback in football. Well, no. He's not. He's not. They should not trade J.J. McCarthy. I think the answer is the answer is clear cut. The Minnesota Vikings are a pretender. I guess you could also argue the Eagles just a little bit, but the Eagles have also been playing very well. Saquon is fantastic. But my thing with the Eagles is the same thing I have with the Ravens, to where if you're not giving the ball to Saquon, what are you doing? Like it almost feels like they can't do anything if they can't use Saquon. It's the new tush push for them.
I know.
It's the new tush push. Instead of that, just handoff. You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of 2021 Sacred Heart.
With Julius Chestnut.
With Julius Chestnut, where the entire playbook, for anyone who doesn't know, the entire Sacred Heart football 2021 playbook was just handing the ball off to Titans running back Julius Chestnut.
I know.
Which worked, but like if you didn't, it was on the ground. It was the ball. Right. The ball was incomplete.
Right, but yeah, Vikings. Look, Darnold. Like, yes, he's been better than past years. It was hard for him to get much worse, but still, the guy's a turnover machine. He's obviously benefiting from the guys around him. Has he gone from second, third string quarterback to a serviceable starter? Maybe, but that's really about it. They've been the defensively they've played a lot better than we thought. Obviously, that offense is very talented. Maybe if they get the first wild card, they might beat Tampa or Atlanta, because those two teams obviously would not be as good if they were in their division. But if they play, if they get like the 6, and they're playing really anybody else in the first round, I'd be shocked if they won the game.
Yeah.
In the first round of the playoffs.
Need I say more? Need I say more?
Exactly. But that's all I got for you guys today. Justin, thank you for coming on. And until next time, so long. Have a great day.
Bye.